Yeah, Nyx. Well, there we go. There's one range hero. It's Leshrac. He explodes though, so that's good.
Yeah, but also it allows OD to take a lot of your. He gains a lot of mana off of imprisoning you, right? And that can get dangerous. Also, I am not convinced by this. Nyx Assassin is classically a counter against OD. And I was going over replays recently, and I started talking about this. But then I realized like how much Nyx has changed, or rather OD has changed.
Yes.
That makes Nyx much worse. You can no longer spike Carapace against imprisonment because it doesn't do AoE damage until you get an Aghanim Scepter. Your mana burn is based off of intelligence, whereas OD now steals mana rather than intelligence.
Yes.
So there are a lot of ways that Nyx is worse against OD than he was.
10 seconds.
Hold on, after the draft last time, Avo said to me, I should brag more when I get a hero prediction right. Oh, I called Kunkka. I'm so good. You guys suck, especially you, Cap. Alright.
I did say there's a way to do it without humble and not arrogant, but I guess she just swallowed that up and didn't care.
Yeah, she just heard white noise. You should brag more.
Yeah.
Hey, where are you at?
I mean, you did guess the Kunkka, but now tell me, and this is the harder one, what positions are they? Is it Kunkka?
Kunkka carry, Mike.
Kunkka carry.
Very most likely.
Okay. Why?
Because it's just played there the most right now because it's a really strong laner. OD would probably...
but why Kunkka carry over any other carry? Is what I'm asking
right.
You. Not why is it a carry.
Why is it? Yeah, okay, sure, fair enough. I think Kunkka's just... I mean, he's just strong. He does a lot. He has the mixed damage between, like, physical and magic.
That's good against Monkey King.
Yeah, he's, like, his catch is really good. Like, Abaddon is... I mean, he can purge stuns and stuff, right? But you can't purge off X marks. So he's gonna have like
that's a very good point.
Catch that goes through that, yeah. Just in general, like the ability to make your team like live longer is really strong with run buff. Like he just gives so much. This hero's just really good right now, and he's got so much utility if he ends up getting shot from like Roshan or something.
There's no way that those are their 3 cores, though, right?
No, it's most
we
likely.
don't know.
Well, it could be, I guess. But I'm thinking Tide is 5.
I would like to see a last video Flash hero.
If it's Kunkka carry, right?
Yep.
Then Tide feels a little weird, especially if you don't know what your offlane hero is yet. Because then you're running a double melee matchup, and that could get seriously exposed. I think, right?
They're 4 right now. Is Nyx
so
Assassin.
what if it's 4 Tide? Is what I'm gonna say. What if it's the melee Tide Hunter runs with the OD in the offlane? So would that be a good lane? I don't even know.
I don't think he trades very well into the monkey out of the lane.
Astral into Anchor Smash. What a combo.
Yeah. So I think there's something funky going on with their lanes. I just don't know exactly what that is yet. Maybe Kunkka's mid, and Tide is a 5 for a ranged carry. That's not OD. I don't know.
I don't think... I mean, without... thinking on it, I feel like I haven't seen Boom like always save their last pick for a certain player on their team. Unlike some other C teams, like Fnatic always save Jabs' offlane for last. Same with T1, like save for Cuckoo. I don't know what Boom. I mean, Boom can do anything. Honestly, their heroes are very flexible. I think SMG just have to ban to like, just ban any role that they feel like they don't wanna see.
I mean, they need an offlaner themselves as well, so they have to, well, supposedly, assuming they're not Leshrac offlane. Can't even tell what you would want. Like, if it's Kunkka carry, you're kind of screwed. There's no way you win that lane. Well, never mind, I spoke too soon. That's how you win that lane. It is Viper.
Does it necessarily win the lane? I guess they have to...
I was literally going to say, like, the double, if you did Kunkka Tidehunter, like, what if you just got Viper or Necrovos or something like that? That would be really bad.
But now they can do a lot, right? They could pick a 5 here that's really strong that deals with Viper, or they could...
What 5 deals with Viper besides Abaddon, though?
I don't.
Oracle, I guess, if you
I don't really like Oracle.
I can't imagine that's good.
I think it really only comes from carries, honestly. That's the only way to deal with Viper is typically you just need a ranged hero that is able to farm without getting harassed out.
I mean, Abaddon was enough to help you most of the time. He's okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking if is there anything like hyper aggressive that can deal with him, maybe an Enchantress, but that doesn't feel good into Viper as well.
No, Ancient's decent if you get the creep and he's forced to use poison attack on the creep because he's out of mana, right?
Exactly. Well, it's not about the mana so much as the fact that he takes a while to like kill down the creep. So if you have like this big creep, like you have level 3 on Ench and you're running a creep at him, he like doesn't deal with that very well.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's kind of awkward to be honest. I don't think you're happy with like Kunkka, OD, Tide, Tricore. They can do Roche with OD, Arcane Orb, so they're not like lacking that. But they have team fight, which is good. Honestly, they have damage as well. Maybe they're missing like a bit of tower push, but OD covers for that as well.
That's their carry, I presume.
Very nice.
So they're gonna go for the combo that Cap suggested, actually. Oh no! Wow, they're doing so many things Cap said. It's actually bonkers. So they run the Tide 4. They still run the Razor though to combine to have the Gush combination here, and they're gonna have a good lane against the Viper as a result.
Yep, you're the greatest analyst slash host slash
no,
caster
I don't think I'm
slash
that good.
talent slash personality in the Dota 2 scene. Well played, man.
Honestly, I don't think that was. I think it was relatively obvious.
Yeah, just relatively.
I don't think I deserve that much credit.
Yeah, no, bro, you're too humble. He's so humble, Ava.
You know what? A wise man once said that it's hard to be humble once you've like gone very far. You know, once you've like casted TI.
Yeah, it really only means
like
something once you've achieved greatness to be able to be humble.
Yeah,
for sure. Like you're just.
And I'm not saying I've achieved greatness. That's a little
maybe if you've done like a TI final.
I do think Boom is gonna 2-0 here.
Okay. I agree with that. I agree because I'm scared to disagree now.
Right, because he's reminded you of his greatness.
I've been conditioned to not go against his.
Because I'm a powerful and established caster.
All right. A powerful and established caster and his crony has decided that is going to be the game for Boom Esports. Will we disagree with the establishment? Will SMG be able to prove it wrong and shove it in the man's face? We'll have to see as we go into game number 2 with MLP Dota and johnxfire.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abbo Plus. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire. John, we are into game number 2 between Boom Esports and SMG, but I've got to just ask you, what the hell is this draft from Boom Esports, Jonathan? Offlane OD, pause for what's going on?
Well, you know, Boom, they tend to flex really hard. I think the panel pointed it out. They've flexed really hard. They go to Tim's Tide. They go with the FBZ OD. They're trying to get better matchups. I think they figured, you know, Yopaj Kunkka is going to work out really well up against our matchup here with Moon on the Lesh. Leshrak can kind of pull out the Kunkka, but the Kunkka, we've seen this matchup a couple of times. You can hold the lane, play with Tidebringer, play with your Torrent as well. So it's not all doom and gloom for the Kunkka. And I think for SMG, they've got pretty good team fight, pretty good lineups. They have a counter for the OD in the Nyx, but that's an off-lane OD. And they're going to be relying mainly on Tino to eventually build up damage. They've got this Astral Imprisonment into Static Link combination, or Link into Imprisonment, that they can really look to maximize and just get Tino running fast. And I think that's something SMG has to be really careful about, because that will just allow Tino to sap free damage every single time.
He's going to get hit a couple times with that tier 1. By the way, shout out to the boys at Valve, boys and girls at Valve. The new Battle Pass, John, we didn't mention it, but it is fantastic. The voice lines, of course, the new ones. You know the one I'm talking about, John. The Do You Love Me? Well, I haven't heard it yet today. I don't know if any of these guys have gotten lucky with those voice lines, but oh, I can't wait. I do hope I get the Do You Love Me ones. Both of them, in fact.
Yeah, I can't wait till we start getting way more for players with voice lines. You know, again, to that topic, you know, Yopaj, he just got his level 100 from sources undisclosed that I'm not willing to say anymore. Tim's was asking for some levels for some reason. These big boys, man, they don't want to pay for it. So we'll see how long till they give in. Hopefully they give in soon. So, you know, we'll all have a Merry Christmas watching it. Yeah.
I have to wait till next week to buy the Battle Pass. And you've decided, of all people, you're going to buy it for a pro player.
Hey. Yeah, a little schmoozing goes a long way, Mike. Still, we're looking at the lanes up top. A little bit of action, some aggression coming out from Tim's. Posturing really aggressively on Tide. Love to see that. Does go for the level 1 Gush. Of course, he's with FBZ on the OD. They are laning up against Roger and mid 1 on the Monkey King and Abaddon. So there's some early presence here for SMG. They can kind of look to just control the wave, especially once they hit level 3. There's a lot of sustain coming through from Roger. But Tim's is doing a great job of just cutting them off. This is a dual melee lane still. FBZ, once he has the Astral out, it's going to be really easy for him to maybe just lock in a hero, line up for some kills, and as he spams out the Arcane Orb, that's a lot of damage even at early levels. Only issue for the OD is mana sustain, and that will kind of fix itself once you have Essence Flux, but that can be a little bit long in too. Like if you skip out on Imprisonment, your laning presence might be cut off, so FBZ's got to make some important choices building into that level 3 here, Mike.
Oh, certainly so. Of course, over in the mid lane, we should have a look at the other lanes. You've got your Page against Moon here in the Kunkka vs Leshrac. It does always feel like no matter who's against the Kunkka does have the advantage due to that Tidebringer. We are currently seeing Moon about 4 CS behind that Kunkka. So while you are going to be able to turn it around as this Leshrac, it does seem to feel like the Kunkka is just naturally going to be at a nice advantage, at least for now.
Yeah, you can just, again, play with a Tidebringer, play with a Torrent every now and again. Moon does have the split Earth and Lightning Storm, so it can be easy to get the slow off, get the split Earth, try to harass out. Once you hit level 6, you can maybe opt to go into Diabolical Edict as well, so you can shove out the lane and look for tower pressure. But I think the Kunkka is just one of those melee heroes that can actually hold itself against Lesh well. We've seen in this matchup, again, multiple times. You have to be really careful with how far you push yourself as the Leshrac, because the Kunkka doesn't particularly care if he gets hit too much. Bottle control is also really important. That's something we saw Boom emphasize in Game 1, Mike, where Yopaj got every single power rune running into the 10-minute mark. I don't think you can afford to do that for SMG here. You're going to want to pick up some haste. You're going to want to pick up some regens on Moon to allow our Leshrac some early avenues of aggression in this game.
Absolutely. Of course, we'll go to the final lane as well. You've got Arfu there on the Nyx Assassin. Going to be there with Raging Potato, and you've got Skem and Tino on that POS1 Razor. And for now, looks like Tino's having a great enough time. And he is against the Viper, but I suppose it's Toxic versus Toxic kind of hero here with the Razor Viper lane matchup. You should favor the Viper, but it's hard to say, because if Tino can break the gap there on that Razor, you're pretty much as good as gone.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth. Like you mentioned, Viper versus Razor. There's even the Nyx versus Lion, right? So you've got Earth Spike and Impale. You've got ground-targeted stunts that can line up. And you don't have that much similarity in the rest of the skill build, but you do have that utility coming out from both sides. I think this should be a little bit better for Raging, but I don't think it's like completely unplayable for Tino. I think you're already seeing that reflect in the early CS as well. 8 to 3 for Tino so far.
Thanks for kind
sure, he
nice
can't
words.
really use the static link effectively against a Viper because
Alright,
you're going to
guys,
have
I know
to
we
gap
probably
close
lost
and
this game,
cop
but we
a
can still
couple
do
of hits
this.
from Poison Attack. But you can still stand back, play with Plasma Field, just focus on the steady CS. And that also cuts off the angles for our Raging Potato to kind of come in and harass out. So it's a little bit tougher. I think you're going to have to wait for a few levels in Afu to kind of get rolling there with Nyx to set you up. Once you can land the Impales out, you can look to melt them down. And looks like we're having some internet issues, but that is natural here in Southeast Asia, Mike.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we used to call this pocket loss, Jonathan. Now it's packet, so good to see that Arfu figured out the word, but I do miss the times when we used to call it pocket loss. Speaking of, Jonathan, now that we are on camera, we're going to have a quick pause here between these two. For anyone that doesn't know, JohnXFire has been invited to dinner with Yopaj. Obviously, now we know why, John. You bought him a 100-level battle pass, so clearly you've bribed him into inviting you over for dinner at his house, by the way. A very private affair between you and Japoy. Would you like to talk to us about what you're going to be having for dinner, John? Are we going to have some candles, maybe some roses? What's going on?
Roses? What do you mean? His parents are there. What do you mean? It's a friendly invite.
Where you're going to impress the parents, John?
It's a friendly invitation. You know, it's one of those invitations where I'm not sure if it's serious. You know, it's like, it's whatever. No, Japoy's just trying to play it cool. He's playing it cool. He won't give me he won't give me his sponsors. We know he's got like 1 million sponsors in the city, so he's trying to placate me. You know, he's saying, let's have dinner sometime. It's like,
so why did you buy him a battle pass, John? Why did you buy him a battle pass?
You said today I've been a bit loopy. I'm not sure. Maybe it's too much mate. I think I'm down to half a case. So that could be a factor. A bit too much day, too much night, but not a problem, Mike, because we've been waiting for a while. So just kind of pumped up for this game, you know?
Yeah. So you and me, we've worked with each other for what, 4, 5 years now. I assume if I needed the battle pass right now, you would buy it for me. Right now.
Sure.
You would send me a 100-level battle pass right now.
Absolutely, Mike.
In front of 15,000 people. That's what you would do.
Because
you're a good friend.
Because I'm a good friend. Because I'm your second wife. We've been
you
together
buy me that
for
battle
so
pass,
long.
you can be the first wife, John.
T is
Up
not
to
gonna
you,
like
mate.
that. Like, thank goodness she doesn't watch us, Mike, because we say a lot of things that I'm sure T would not be happy about. So
Yeah. You never
shout
know.
out to her. Just in case she's watching, shout out to her. But yeah. You know what? There you go. Wait. Oh gosh, never mind. I made a mistake. I bought it for myself.
John, don't actually
Oh,
buy
sorry,
it. It's all.
I wanted to be nice for you. I wanted to be
Oh,
nice.
now everyone's disconnected from the game as well. I mean, they've
Oh
had
my
enough.
God! Wait.
Yep.
Oh God. All right.
Yep. Well done, Jonathan. Well
Sweet.
done.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for buying yourself a battle pass, John, in front of 15,000 people. Good to see where your allegiances lie. I guess you were contemplating buying it, so there you go, John. No choice in the matter now.
I thought I clicked the gift button. I thought I clicked the gift button. Now it's weird. Oh no, I still can gift wrap. It's not over, Mike. I can gift wrap it. It's all right. You can stay quiet. We're fine.
I hate the fact that you bought it too, because now they're gonna think I
Why?
bullied you into it. Because now they're gonna think I
No.
bullied you into it.
I was actually
Yes,
gonna
they
say
are.
let me gift it. I was gonna say let me gift it so I can get bonus points. See, it's thinking ahead, Mike. It's thinking several steps ahead. It's worthwhile.
All right,
Although
fair
I'm
enough.
spending more, I guess. It makes sense in my mind, okay? It doesn't have to make sense in anyone else's mind. It's my mind that counts, Mike.
Well,
It's
thank
my
you for
mind
that,
that
John.
counts.
I do appreciate the battle pass. Apart from that, John, have you had merienda today? Have we?
Yes,
ate
I
something
have.
before the-
It's
What
not
do we
been
eat?
very healthy. I've had instant noodles for lunch, instant noodles for merienda, and a can of Spam. So I've been living the highlights of my college days, Mike, when instant noodles was all I could afford. Not much has changed in several years. Still
No,
the same
apparently
lifestyle.
Yeah. Good on you,
Good
John.
noodles, though. Good noodles.
Yeah.
You know, I had some variety at least. I had pancit canton for lunch, and at dinner I had a different brand of Korean cheese ramen. So it's been good. How about you, Mike? Have you been exploring the intimate tastes and flavors of instant noodles, or have you been elsewhere?
I have been looking up recipes for pancit canton, John. You keep bringing it up in front of me. I've been
Oh.
very curious to see how it tastes. So I've been trying to get the wife to make me some because I'm a terrible cook. So hopefully I'll be able to update you on my experience after we come back from our Christmas break. Probably going to be eating a hell of a lot during Christmas, considering it is
Oh, yeah.
Christmas
Oh, yeah.
after all. But yeah, no, not too much today, John. I had potato salad and a bit of tuna, which is rather depressing. And not quite as depressing as noodles and Spam, but I suppose they're on the same page. Looks like we are almost back into the game. Yeah, there you go.
Great. Yeah. I mean, again, it's not as bad as an instant noodle. It's still a bit classier, Mike. You gotta.
Yeah.
You still have some self-respect there, so you should be happy. Christmas
Thank
should
you.
be great though. Like I know we talk about Christmas a lot. Christmas is big in the Philippines at least, so I'm sure everyone's already ready for the holiday celebrations, right? Like we have
I'm a
something
bit
called.
sad
Why? Why? Mike?
because
Why
I
are you
wanted to
sad?
wear the Santa suit again, John, and I didn't get the opportunity this time. I forgot.
You could try. What do you mean you forgot? We still have a few days, right? You could try it
I
another
guess so.
time.
Well, it's assuming the games start tomorrow. We'll get it back into it now because the unpause has happened. And that's why, JohnXFire, we should be hired for DPC slots because we just talk forever about absolutely nothing. Naturally, when the casting starts again, you'd want to probably just mute us straight away. But before that point, John, we're pretty good at talking garbage.
Yeah. I'm so good. You tell me to shut up all the time. So there's that.
Well, you've
welcome.
been rather annoying today, John. I'm not going to lie.
Fair enough. Not going to deny that. Still, back into the game. Surprisingly, we've only been through 2 minutes of the actual game. It feels like our pause time has gone a bit beyond that. Still very even in the laning phase. We're not seeing first blood yet, Mike, but the levels are building up. I think once we start to see a couple of those side lanes hit the level 3 mark, that's when the aggression can come out. Like we talked about FBZ and Tim's, the minus armor plus the damage coming through from FBZ. The Arcane Orb can start to overwhelm, so could be one angle to take as well. And of course, down bot, the toxic lane versus toxic lane can always work either way.
Bot lane, they are trying to make the move in onto Tino. With the poison attacks out, Tino should slowly tick away, and he does to Arfu, but Skem is at least able to trade on the line. In fact, that is a lot of damage onto Arfu to boot, but Arfu will be fine to walk out. So a 1-for-1 down at the bot lane, certainly favorable for the side of SMG, however.
Yeah, it's a big take for SMG. And again, to that point about the double toxicity, right? Like, the Vipers should be able to just overwhelm with the damage output, but it did take a little bit longer with Tino sapping away. And I think that's something both sides will have to respect. If Tino had something to maybe help out, maybe if Scam managed to cut off a little bit earlier on, would have been a lot better if they found Raging Potato first. Still, it's not the worst start. You're still getting a little bit more in CS, and that's more than enough for Tino to make up for dying first there.
Yeah, top lane, mid one. He should be just fine. FBZ still moving forward. A lot of damage being dealt, but he does get the Jingu off in the end. Looking for that Primal Spring in. This could be a dangerous play from mid one. I'm not sure if he has the lifesteal to survive, but Roger's going to be there to back him up. It's going to be just fine. Can be rather hard laning against that off-lane ODs. It just does so much damage with those arcane orbs. And now mid one, he's dealing with it just fine, however.
Yeah, you do have to watch out. Like, level 3 is a big spike for FBZ. He's got the Astral to play with on top of his Arcane Orb as well, and he has the Mana Sustain to play with the Essence Flux. So there's a lot of ways for you to work that in and out, kind of be aggressive in that lane. They are still keeping a good lid on Tino down bot, though. Like, the moment they know Scam's away, they've got this nice forward ward watching the back line of that jungle. They see the pulse, so they can jump in, force Tino away from the creeps, prevent him from farming up and start building up on Raging. Still not the worst times for Tino, but you are starting to slow down a bit in that Razor, and that is a cause of concern. Tino's farming pace, he needs to hit that early spike here.
And he does. I suppose you can always rely on the OD to carry you through later on if you need to, but against the mid one Monkey King, that is pretty dire straits if you get to that situation, so you'd rather not have to go through that if you can, as mid one, he is a pretty damn good Monkey King player, as we've seen many, many times. Still, quite across the map. Be making too many plays quite yet. So the Link is out on Raging. They'll get the Hex out with the Plasma Field to boot, and maybe they do have the Viper. Plenty of damage, but Tino again, he's going to back off because they just turn right back around. Eventually, he does secure the kill, but he will end up dropping. Raging able to eventually get the kill off him. And I'd say his SMG, you're still kind of happy with that. You are slowing down Tino to quite a great extent.
Yeah, it's keeping that Razor in check, slowing down the initial item spikes. I think for Tino, the fact that he did find that kill this time around does kind of help to kind of cover for that loss, so it kind of evens out. You're not really dropping too much. All you're really doing is missing out on some CS in the wave, but at the least it's not under your tower, so Boom's not losing out too much there. I think the big thing right now for both sides is it's keeping the side lanes tied up, so that's giving a lot of room for the mid lanes to play their game. And in that game, Moon is starting to pull ahead. He has level 6 up here, Mike. He can farm the side camps faster. There's some really good rune control coming out from Boom. Yopaj doesn't get the double damage, but they're denying off the top-ups for Lesh and makes it harder for him to spam out his spells and push the lane. Although, Roger.
Oh, they got Roger. He's only level 3 right now. Brought back into the X, and eventually Tims will take the kill. He'd have mid one of the tree line, looking to see if he can make a play here, but the pings are out. He's quite low in HP, so he'll go back to the jungle and just start clearing out stacks. Eventually bot lane, however, Raging. He'll be chased down on the Viper, just chased away back towards his tier 1. Does get salved up by Arfu anyway, so he's just fine. Does seem like Boom Esports are ready to get more aggressive as SMG. They're not quite there yet, but they do have a very nice mid-game timing with this Lashrak and Monkey King. You've just got to kind of wait out the storm that is going to be Boom in a few minutes. But for now, they are doing just fine.
Yeah, they're just holding their own quite well. Not much of a network lead yet for Boom or for SMG, so they're not falling behind either. I think the big thing is that the team fight of Boom is looking a bit scary. They've got Ravage, they've got the boat, they've got Santi's Eclipse, they've even got the Earth Spike from Scam for SMG. I mean, you could argue they've got good zoning with Wukong's eventually. They've got some area control and damage coming through with the Leshrac as well, and Impale to stun, but their control just doesn't feel as reliable in comparison. Like, Boom has so many ways of just playing around this, and they've got that power spike for FBZ. Roger again getting caught out though.
That he is. Bodic Shield only going to help him so much as eventually, oh, they'll give the kill over to Scam this time. Yopaj not able to pick one up, but mid one. Top lane ends up going down solo to FBZ. He did drop the Sanity's Eclipse to get that done, and in the meantime, bot lane Raging. He's been chased down. Plasma Field will end up connecting. They can't quite reach to get the X back, or maybe they can. He is quite a fast boy here on the Kunkka. Raging. Torrent is going to be juked out, but they are chasing him down through the tree line. Find him though. He'll go for a TP play. Arfu goes down in the meantime, and eventually they do get Raging out of there. Nice jukes out from our Viper. Still a pretty nice trade across the map for the side of Boom as they got mid one and Arfu.
Yeah, they're still going to be happy slowing down a lot of big heroes there. FBZ just doing a lot of work with that Meteor Hammer up, and it's that point when the OD just becomes nearly impossible to play against, right? Like, if you leave that lane, the Monkey King, one simple Astral, he's done for. The damage output is there for FBZ. His farm is going to start to escalate. Now SMG has to split their choices up. Do we slow down the Razor, as we have been doing bot, or do we start slowing down this OD while he has no protection? Because either way, one of these heroes is going to be an issue. I think SMG has to be a bit cautious about just solely focusing on Tino, because FBZ is going to be eating up a lot. And once he hits his Ags timing with the double Astral Imprisonment, that's where things become really hard. It becomes so hard to initiate. It becomes really easy for Boom to just go for lining up the stuns, setting up with the Astral into Meteor Hammer, getting the kills off, and just running and gunning from there. So I think, again, SMG, there is a certain extent where you need to farm, but you've got an offlane Viper, you've got a mid-lesh. You kind of want to take some early engagements and take some early objectives. We just haven't seen SMG line up for any of that just yet.
Certainly not. It does feel like they are just waiting on Moon right now on that Lesh rack, and he's still farming away on the Lesh, just doing a fantastic job, but eventually will rotate down towards the bot lane where they will find Skem and Yopaj. A lot of heroes here for the Kunkka to try and deal with, but they're going to move in anyway. It's Tino. He does rotate down. Earthspike's going to be out. Plasma Field again going to connect on multiple heroes. SMG, they are still relatively healthy. They might just keep going. I mean, you do not have the boat to worry about anymore here from your Page, so I think you can get this tier 1 bot tower down. Unless FBZ wants to rotate. But I doubt he can do much on the OD. In fact, now Skem has been caught for a second, but he'll TP right out of there. They cannot cancel. Instead, Tino, he's going to run it after Raging Potato, trying to go after that Viper. A lot of damage has been stolen away, and now Yopaj just wipes 2 of them out. Onto Arfu they go. They'll have the Nyx Assassin to boot. Oh boy, a lot of damage taken. His mid lane, Moon, he has his Arcane Rune swiped away, and now FBZ going for the classic Meteor combination, but it does not land. Still, they found mid 1. There's your tree cut out. They've got him summed up with the Torrent as well. Mid 1, he does not want to die like this, but he has no choice in the matter. As Tino picks him up, and boom, well, they're off to the races, John. Here we go. They won't stop. It's Moon, he'll try to fight. Sanity, rather, the Eclipse is there. Moon, oh, he's going to be fine. A nice stun out from Arfu. They do drop FBZ, and now the Ravage. Tims, he lands onto 4 with the boats to fly in. They've got Moon down. Arfu, he's still just going to try and body block Yopaj here, but the phase boots is going to allow him to get away. And he's got Skem there to help him out, but they're still trying to move in. Earthspike is off the mark, but it shouldn't really matter. So I don't think SMG have quite enough. In fact, now the Torrent turnaround. Spike Carapace, it'll lock him down for a second. It just seems like they do not want to deal with Raging Potato right now, but Yopaj, he's trying to get that big Tidebringer hit out, but it's not going to matter. Skem is able to go down here to Raging. Eventually SMG able to get something.
It takes a way too long to find that line kill, though. And you know that SMG were gunning for more after all those losses they took. Just really great counterplays coming out from Boom. Very fortunate that Tim's managed to get that level 6 right before right as the fight was breaking up onto the ramp area in that mid-tier 1. Just having that additional control lined up for them. And for SMG, this hurts them a lot because their pacing is supposed to be a lot faster, right? They got Leshrac, they need some out towers. Moon is starting to play on the bot. He's wanting that bot tier 1 go first before gunning for the mid. That is giving Boom a lot more room to just run around with course. There's some room now for Tino to farm the top lane fine, rush that BKB. Once the BKB is up, the Viper's not going to be able to rip through him. The Leshrac's not going to do as much. And mid 1's not yet strong enough in the Monkey King to just handle that Razor all by himself in the core-to-core matchup. I think you're going to hit that early spike for Boom with the itemization. SMG are starting to swing around from that jungle. Like, they take the bot tier 1. The Moon is just looking to force a response with the Edict, and this is something Lesh does well, but here comes FBZ at the least. He can look to defend or zone him out.
It's cooldown right now, that Meteor Hammer. He's waiting, but Arfu seems to know he's around. Astral will come out eventually. Moon, does he want to dive tier 2s? Doesn't really feel like it. He'll leave. They will leave Arfu to just die on his own. However, X is there. They've got Moon on that Leshrac with the Torrent boat out. That's a much, much bigger target. Can they get through the HP pool, though? It seems like they cannot lock him down, so instead, they'll go after Roger. They'll take care of one, but now Moon again. He'll be X'd up here by Yopaj as he does go for the Split Earth. It won't work out. Now the Ravage out. It only connected on one there as the Astral was there to protect Moon, but it won't matter. They drop the Sanities. They've got Raging Potato to boot. He'll try to run away, but the X is there once again, and Tims, he'll take the double on the Tide. It's another successful team fight here for Boom Esports.
Yeah, they just managed to get the punishment they need once more. FBZ lining up down bot, cutting off the Nyx actually takes away a lot of counterplay from SMG. They're relying on that counter with the Spike Carapace from all the AoE effects Boom has, and relying on the mana burn to just punish FBZ a little bit faster. They didn't have those options. So that pick off on the support was actually really big for Boom. And you know, Yopaj just in the right spot, managing to rotate in, getting the X's off, getting control. They're still not done. Not many long cooldowns here for Boom to play with, so they can always keep that aggressive posturing up.
FBZ, he'll deny the double damage off. Chase is on though, raging. He'll pop the pick stick, trying to chase down the OD. He get within range. Oh, he does get one hit off. Just won't be enough. FBZ's out of there. Instead though, SMG, they really want that mid-tier 1 tower. When you do have a Leshrac after all, but they're going to have to deal with Tims first, who does TP right in. They'll stun him up. Can they help Tims out? It doesn't seem like it, but the Astral is going to be there in time. SMG, they'll keep trying after that Tidehunter. Moon will chase him down. Tims somehow still alive, but should slowly tick up, and now the boats will fly in. It will land on basically nothing. Tims somehow, he does finally go down at the tier 2 tower, but they've got Arthur as a trade. And Raging, he'll be X'd up. Do they have the control? It doesn't seem like it, but Tino now is going to show up. On that Razor, he's definitely happy to fight against that Leshrac Moon. He's not safe yet. He'll try to run with the Aphotic Shield and try to fight back. Tino, he's still just fine. In fact, the Plasma Field, so much damage flying out from Boom as they just tipping everyone. Roger, he's just trying to chase down Tino, but he's not going to be able to get it. That'll be another one for Boom. 19-6 now is the kill score here for this game number 2. And the only real bright side right now for SMG is mid-1 is freely farming up, but his net worth, it's not really that impressive at the moment.
No, I mean, he's starting to get some room to catch up on the Monkey. It still boils down to an issue of item spikes and timings. So say Monkey gets Desert, that's a lot of right-click damage coming for him, but the Monkey King has to play a forward position. And he has to put himself at risk. He's going to need a BKB on top of that, and that's like 3,000 more gold he's going to need to farm up. And that's even more time for Boom to just keep playing aggressive. That Monkey King's just not going to be ready to fight unless they get good setup. Right now, that setup is really just on Leshrac and Nits, which just isn't enough to lock in most of these heroes down.
Refresh rune there for your Page. SMG, they're just desperately trying to hold on to that mid-tier 1 tower. It's like opening the floodgates, right, with that mid-tier 1. Especially when you have a draft like this from SMG, you just can't afford to let that tower go. The mid-1, he needs the jungle right now. So does Moon. They've got to try and keep themselves catching up. They are successfully defending though. Boom, they won't go all the way for this. And I think SMG in their minds have faith that they'll just be able to overtake and outscale the draft of Boom Esports eventually. So again, they are running this POS 1 Razor, which is a bit hit and miss once you get into that late game. For now though, Moon gonna run into him, the bot lane, mid-1. He's been caught out, the Ravage was there from Tims. He's gonna try and get out now, but the X is there. Yopash will bring him right back. They do find Tino top lane, however. So you still got a POS 1 for a POS 1 trade. TP's a rim, but Arfu, he's gonna scout out FBZ. FBZ seems to know something is awry, so he does back out. And that'll allow SMG to find another tier 1 tower. So, not the greatest sight seeing mid-1 die there, but you still get something out of it for SMG.
That's actually a really good trade for SMG. Tino is worth way more than mid-1. Mid-1 was not worth too much at all. They might not be able to take this counterfight though. They've got to be a bit cautious here.
We've got Arfu locked down. That'll be at least one. He'll try for a TP play up, but you've always got the sanities and you always have the X. On top of that, Tims does have the Blink Dagger up now. So you've got some really nice initiation here with this Tide. SMG though, still pretty prepared for this, I'm sure. Do you feel like anything in particular is lacking here for SMG to really put up a good team fight against Boom?
BKBs. They need BKBs on Monkey King, they need a BKB on their Viper, they need a BKB on their Lesh, maybe even. And all that's kind of lined up, but while those BKBs aren't built or done, Boom is just going to run like this. They know they've got superior control, they know they've got the burst damage to deal with you. They know that there's no protection from SMG outside of Aphotic Shield, which can only save one hero, really. So Boom can just keep going around, doing what they want, and I think SMG has to be, again, a bit cautious. We kind of saw that timing in Game 1, Mike, where they had to sit back, they had to farm up. I think this time they will need to farm up, not out from choice, but really necessity. They just need spell immunity to even think about taking these fights first.
They're trying to find a way in. Arfu, he'll sneak around with the Vendetta. See if he can find a nice setup on somebody, but Boom are grouped up very nicely here. Moon He's going to start moving forward. Smoke, it's going to be popped immediately. SMG, they're going to still try, but Arfu has been scouted out. Tims, he's got no Ravage for 20 seconds, so you don't have to worry about that as SMG right now. They still move in, but a big stun out. Scam, he found 2 targets. Boat will fly in. Arfu's gone. Raging, he'll try to survive as Yapage now. He's going to deal with mid one, who gets the Wukong's command off, but they'll still lose Raging Potato. Nobody cares about the Wukong's command whatsoever, as Tims, he might die, but he's got Ravage up in 1 second. Buybacks are there. Big balance strike out. Skim, he's going to drop it. Now the Ravage comes in. They've got the Monkey King mid one. He will go down. FBZ, he'll keep moving forward onto the Abaddon. They'd love a dieback onto Roger, but they do miss the Meteor Hammer. So Moon, he might be able to turn right back around with this Flesh Rack. We'll see how far Moon really wants to go, but Tims, he jumps back in, but he immediately gets taken down. His SMG, it's not too bad of a team fight. I mean, you commit a buyback on your Abaddon, but overall, I'd say it went decent, considering how it started.
Yeah, you did manage to find one high priority target in Yopaj. I think the early Ags rush coming through from Moon was not something that Yopaj was ready for. He popped his BKB really early in that fight, and once that BKB fades, that Nihilism is going to cause a lot of damage to come through. So it's a good amount of burst coming through from Moon. I think that's something Yopaj will have to be careful about. Now he's going to have to think twice about the BKB use. I think that goes for all. Boom. SMG are also starting to hit some spikes. They are sort of starting to shape up to take engagements. They still have to be a bit cautious about running in like this, though.
Yeah, Raging. Falling so fast, Yopaj, he never got that swing off. It won't matter though, because the boat's going to fly in. Raging again, just copying so much damage, and now Tims, he's in. There goes Raging, and I think Roger, he's not going to be so lucky either. He has the borrowed time, and they're going to try and help him out from the high ground, but it's just not looking great for him. In fact, Arfu now, he moves in. Mid one, he's in the tree line just waiting, but you've got the Axe up on FBZ. Arfu's gone. Wukong's command out again, but Moon, he's dropping way too fast. It's mid one against the world, and the world looks a lot stronger right now. They X him back, they'll hold him in his own ring. Scam, he'll jump in with the Hex, he won't even die. Earth Spike is there, they've got the control, they've got everything. Another team wipe for Boom Esports, as they will rush right into the Roshan pit. That'll be ages to go the way of Boom, as SMG have no way to counter.
It's a really quick rush as well, with FTC doing that pure damage on the Arcane. Not going to take too long to go. SMG still lacking a lot of options in these fights. They've been forcing mid one to join in without his BKB. And without that BKB, he stands in Wukong's. Everyone can run out. They can take control of him from outside. There's no pressure. And you don't have the BKB done on Raging as well. We talked about that right before those fights broke out, Mike. They need some spell immunity on hand. At least one hero that can stand in front with no worries. I think that's just super important. Someone to break the combo of Boom with a Meteor Hammer, with the control they have on hand. Stop Yopaj from just getting free hits. And just not really care to kind of deal with that. They do have it on a Raging Potato now with disassembly on his Dragonland. So maybe with a Viper BKB, that might be something you can play around. Just play behind the Viper, let him stand forward, let him force out some spells, pop the spell immunity, and turn around. But I think Boom now with a 6k lead, 30-10. With only a 6k lead, it's actually a bit odd, right? Like, that's a lot of kills, but it's not a lot of net worth. It does show you that SMG are still working the map fairly well considering their position. It also means they're severely behind EXP, so I think Boom's just going to be able to use that level advantage in a big way as well.
I'd say so. Blink up on FBZ now. So you've got the initiation with the double Astrals. Roger, he's going to be spotted out first. Yopaj, he'll go to the front side and trying to find somebody else, but Roger, he is caught down towards the bot lane. He's going after Moon now. So you've got Roger on one side, Moon's been caught out on the other. He's got no way to TP out of this. Torrent will connect. Maybe he can TP up, but no. Schem is around now. In the backside, Roger finally goes down an Arfu. He gets taken out to boot. Just all across the map. The coordination is just on point. How much cleaner does it get than that, John?
Oh, man. That is just style points. You know, Yopaj sees Roger. He's like, all right, let me scout ahead for a core. He says, no cores. All right, I'll TP out. Oh, my gosh. Ooh.
Mid one, he barely gets out. You were saying,
yeah.
Jonathan.
I mean, just style. You know, Yopaj knew his supports could handle it. His other cores, his teammates could handle that kill on Roger. It just goes down, defend the tier 2, kills off the big Leshrac that's causing most of the issues for SMG. And mid one just doesn't have a lane to play with. and he's trying to work the bot lane. He can't make his way top. TP's on cooldown. He's just going to have to work his way slowly but surely through the tree line. They are kind of clumping up for a defense. Again, the team fight factor of SMG is just not as big. They don't have big team fight to play with outside of Wukong's and Impale.
Nice stun out on Tino, but he's got the Aegis up, so he's happy to die once. Keep in mind that Ravage is available to blink up there for Tim's. Tino, he's going to BKB and run. Seems like they want to hold on to the Aegis. It's SMG, they'll be happy with their defense. Happy with the BKB on cooldown. That'll be enough. Boom, they won't bother. They'll leave. But immediate smoke up here from SMG, and there's a double damage rune waiting. Down to that bot rune spot. This could be big for SMG. It's mid one, he'd love it for himself, and he'll take it. Tim's, he's seen all this though. They know about it. Smoke is broken on Arthur. They're still trying to move in and find themselves a target, but nobody's going to be around, it seems. It's mid one. He'll keep jumping through the tree line and getting the vision over. Tim's, he's been spotted. Wukong's command's out. They've surrounded him. They want that Ravage gone, and they've got him. A nice start for SMG now. They find a bit more. FBC, he'll be a great target, and he's gone immediately. Boat will fly in. It's all too late, though. They'll still try to fight. Mid when he gets stunned up the finger.
Oh.
It's going to be enough. They've got the Monkey King down, but Moon, he'll keep the fight going. Yapaj is out of mana and slowly running out of HP and should just drop, and he does as Tino. He still has the Aegis, and it will go now, but he's got no teammates. He's only got Scam. And now Tim's with the Ravage out. He'll land onto 4 heroes. They'll try to turn it themselves. The counter initiation, but can they get it done? Refresh is there. They might have the damage. Tino back in onto Moon. They've gone too far in the end. The buyback might pay off. Arthur's gone. Moon, he's still trying to run, but the gush is out. They slow him down. They tip Tino over. Roger, he will be the only one to escape. Such a great team fight for SMG, but it still ends so badly.
Yeah, it ends up probably one of the better fights for SMG this game, with a full team fight at least. They do lose mid one a bit early, but they do manage to get some big kills, and internet issues still abound here, Mike. So, unfortunate for SMG, but it is what it is. You know, Southeast Asian internet, hey? Yeah. What happens does happen, but SMG gonna need to kind of catch up at some point, kind of need to find a way to go in to use those BKBs. Boom, they're feeling great. Again, 37-13, only a 7k lead, so SMG are not completely out, but you gotta admire how many kills Boom have found in this game, Mike.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've just been non-stop, and I'm starting to wonder if this draft from SMG is going to be able to outscale Boom in the end, because Tino, that team fight, he pops the refresher, he has the double ulti going. It is a lot of damage, and it does start to really tick away at you. Not to mention, you get one good static link off on the Monkey King, and suddenly the damage output from him just doesn't matter anymore. It's proven to be very problematic for SMG.
I don't think SMG completely went out by scaling, right? Because not just a Razor would refresh. Like, eventually when you get Ags on Kunkka, Ag Shard on Kunkka, Ag Shard on FBZ, which I wish we'd see sooner, because that is still the most annoying spell combination I've seen. Just the Ag Shard and the Ags, like double Astral to just run. It stalls you out for so long, it just drags those fights on. I think Boom has a lot of utility left for scaling. I think for SMG, it feels like they're on the timer. Like, even if they hit these BKB timings, they'll have the same issue as Boom down the line. Eventually, those will be 6-second BKBs, and I think that actually favors Boom a lot more. Their 6-second BKBs are a lot more useful compared to SMG's 6-second BKBs, whereas, you know, once those fade, you have to deal with the OD, you have to deal with the Kunkka and the Torrent Storm. You have to deal with a Razor who doesn't care for the BKBs anyway with double static link. You just don't have enough burst to kind of punish. And it's kind of weird because your save mechanic here on Boom is really FBZ with Imprisonment. For SMG, it's Roger with the Aphotic Shield. It feels like FBZ's been doing a lot more to stall out these fights with his Ags. He just Astral 1, wait. If they try to re-engage, Astral again, or Astral someone in the backline or up front who's trying to do some damage. And that just gives you a lot of damage as well with your Santis, which is really easy to turn around. SMG don't have the biggest mana pools outside of the Lesh. So as the fights drag on, as more of those imprisonments come in, FBZ's hammer drop is going to be bigger and bigger as well.
No, absolutely. And by the way, just for anyone out there wanting an update, we are almost back into the game, as we are waiting for one reconnection to come in before we can get started again. Which brings me back to my next marital dispute with you, JohnXFire. A lot of people recently have been asking me to change my name to Mike X Ice or some crap like that. Mike X Water, Mike X Ice. Why is it not John the Phoenix? Why can't you be JLP? Like why do I have to change?
But
What's wrong with MLP?
It sounds like a jalopy. It sounds like a jalopy, like an old-timey car. JLP, a jalopy. It's not John LaPhoenix. It sounds like a jalopy. It's just not. It's not cool. Although to be fair, John Xfire is kind of similar to John LaPhoenix because fire and Phoenix is, it's kind of there. So I guess by technicality, that could be like a synonym, and I'll give you that. Maybe down the line we can have it. No more pause time for SMG. Right in time for them to reconnect, but they can't afford to have another disconnect like that, Marcus. They're not gonna have enough. They're not gonna have any time left technically to kind of stall out here.
No, absolutely not. Very difficult scenario now because they were complaining about packet loss earlier on, and chances are they might still be suffering through it. But well, that is kind of the deal when you're playing online games, right? You've got to just got to get on with it if you do run out of pause time. And fortunately for SMG, they're gonna have to work through it for now. Something I'm sure they've been used to for quite a while, is it does tend to happen quite often enough. It's fine, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, though, back to the state of the game. 37-13, 7k net worth advantage. You talk to me about SMG probably not just purely being able to outscale the draft of Boom Esports, and I have to agree, is FPC's just being a pain in the butt here down a bot lane, clearing out the creep wave with that Ags up. Mid one has to do it the old-fashioned way, and in the meantime, Boom, they're just pushing top tier 2 towers.
Doesn't take them too long. You've got great damage from Tino and Yopaj. You've got the Meteor Hammer from FBZ. And it just melts. Like, the side of SMG, you'd expect them to be playing for tier 2s. You'd expect them to be taking the map a little bit faster to Lesh. Mid 1 is doing some good work down. But it might force the response. I don't think Boom care too much, because now they have the Roche control with the outpost, right? They can wait for the respawn. They've got early, really good access points. They've got great wards as well, cutting through that entire riverside. They do smoke up. There was no ward from SMG to spot, so Boom can find a really good angle to force this next fight.
Yeah, they're going to try and push that tier 3 tower. SMG, they're getting through it rather fast, but can they survive through the team fight? In we go, Tims. He won't throw the Ravager yet, but Moon, he's been caught out with the X out. Torrent, Boat, all of it going to be thrown in, but he is still alive and still fine as the Boundless does hold them down. Wukong's out, mid one, he'll zone them out. Nice disengage from SMG so far. Do they keep going? Moon has moved forward onto FBZ, but he'll Astro himself, and now Tims, he's in, still no Ravage out, just trying to bait out the BKBs, but FBZ, he's dropping fast, and he does go down. No buyback available on that OD, but Tino, he'll get to work onto Arthuba mid one, he's jumped in again, but oh my goodness, the damage output. Paz just takes him out, and now the Ravage, it does fly out from Tims eventually. Moon's gonna go, and you've just got Roger left. Where did the damage come from, John? Apparently Silver Edge is more than enough to get it done.
It really is. Like, Kunkka just hits so hard with his talent spikes, and you can just absolutely melt through. The side of SMG, they completely tunnel vision into FBZ, right? They understand the OD is doing too much for the saves. The Sanities just melts us, especially once our BKBs fade. But they overcommit. And that was all for control onto one hero. And that was really a bit of a deep fight as well, near easy access points for Boom. They do get punished, and this is an insane game. 42-14, that's 56 kills overall in 29 minutes with only an 11k lead for Boom, but that is now significant. I think it's still not as big as you'd expect it to be with 42 kills under your belt, but it's big enough for Tino and Yopanj to have this massive item advantage compared to Moon, compared to mid one. And for SMG, again, we were talking about BKB spikes, Mike. I'm not sure what comes after next, right? Like, maybe a BKB on Moon would help. Maybe a little bit more damage would help now on mid one. I think you actually have to go for stats now on your Razor on your Monkey King to just kind of stand there, use the Wukongs to the best that you can. And I think the next big thing is actually Ags for Afu. That gives you way more teamfight control. If you find a good position to burrow in. The issue is for Afu, that's a long time off. He's just not been finding too much farm here on the Nyx, and I think as long as you don't have that additional teamfight control to play with your Wukongs, then you're always going to kind of lack some control here when Boom brings their 5 heroes to force.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do love the fact that you do have the Ags up now on your Tidehunter, and that AoE gush can be very, very hard to deal with when you're trying to go high ground. As you're going to see right now, but a big smoke up from Boom. Moon, he's invis. He does break the smoke on Yopaj. Now SMG, they've got the info. In the meantime, Arfu just hiding in the base, just waiting for that right moment to pounce with his own blink dagger out. He does also have the Aeon disc, so you've got that security blanket, knowing you might be able to survive the initial onslaught once you do initiate. But can he get that big stun he's looking for? I mean, ultimately, you are looking to get Tims first, because you're always going to have that fear of that big Ravage once those BKBs are used up. Looks like Arfu, he'll just leave. They are not feeling comfortable. And again, I think with the AoE Gush, it just makes it so much harder.
Yeah. You just don't have the creep wave to play with at high ground push, and that was a great reward as well from Scam. So I think without the information to play with, Afu had no reason to say and just backs off while they can. Roshan almost spawning up here, Mike, 24 seconds away. At the least, SMG do manage to take back their outpost. They've got an access point to fight for Roche. They're getting some obs wards as well to watch the area. So they can contest, and they can contest pretty darn strong. Moon has really good AoE damage. If they can get a good stun off, if they can set up, maybe run in with Afu scouting around as well on the Nyx, that could be a fight that maybe gives them a little bit more momentum in this game as well. So I think Boom have to be a bit cautious going to the next Roche, but they certainly have the damage to handle it. That is Roche number 2 with the Aegis and Ag Shard. They aren't rushing to it just yet. They are a bit blind on the map. No forward vision at all here from Boom. Just a whole bunch of sentries. They're going to need to maybe get some info out first before starting to commit for Roshan.
A lot of patience here. SMG 11k behind. So much damage. It's a matter of, again, surviving through the onslaught, as now Roshan is going to be up. Boom. I don't know if they have time for the Roshan. It might be a little bit obvious here, and you might see a bot lane push out from SMG to force them back. They are already kind of approaching with the creep wave now. You are going to expect at least your Yopaj to rotate and try to deal with this creep wave, but in the meantime, you've got mid one around to just get back to work. TP's not there anymore for the Kunkka. The mid one, he is not going to allow them to go for that free Roshan. Just keep split pushing and just being a nuisance here on this Monkey King. Now, Boom, they are still posturing rather aggressively around that Roshan pit, though. They have not left. Tims will be the one to deal with the creep wave at the bot lane. They may need the Ravage for this Roshan fight. But we'll see as the Roshan has officially started, somewhat. They do back off. Just a bit of damage.
Yeah, just playing tag with Roche. I don't really think you need Ravage all too much. I think based on these team fights, Tims actually holds this Ravage as like the second initiation. They tend to jump in first with Scam. They tend to jump in first with FBZ. Again, the Imprisonment Meteor Hammer combination. So having Tims for Ravage is pretty much like a bonus. So it's not necessary. They might find a fight outside Roche anyway.
Smoke broken. They're all grouped up. SMG. This is a very dangerous situation here as Arfu. He's going to get caught out. Aeon Disc will save the day. A nice impel there. Tims will jump in. Ravage is out. He's connected on 3. Raging. He got his BKB off in time, but they've lost Arfu. He'll buy back. There goes Tims. They got the tide down. Tino, do you want to keep going? It seems like he's thinking about it, but Raging is going to zone him out and force him back. Mid one, bound and strike, it's on the mark. They want to keep going. Impel's there, but the Astral, it'll buy him some time. He got the refresh off. He wants that double ulti going, and now the BKB's out. He's got mid one, static linked up with the Spider Legs. Mid one, he can't get out of there. He's going to try and BKB through it. Is it enough? But now it is with the boat. It's going to fly in. BKB's still there. He's still alive. Moon, he'll keep going. Onto Skim, they'll get the Lion down mid one. I don't know how he still survived. With 120 HP, he is alive. But Tim's having a look. Instead, they'll move up north. They'll go after that left track. They'll pick off Moon. And the only survivor is going to be the Monkey King. As mid one, he'll clear out the creep wave again. It's all he can do right now to buy his team time to respawn.
Yep. He is applying a good amount of pressure on that bot lane. And of course, at least one here to come back, and that will be Yopaj. Does not X himself, so it looks like he just wants to keep that lane in control. Trust his team to clean up Roshan mid one.
Yopaj is having a look. Turn, it was on the mark, but he pounces out of that tree. Roshan though, it's going down, John, and that'll be a chance for Aegis to go the way of Boom. And both will go the way of Tino.
Yeah, I mean, that little bonus with the Storm Surge is always going to be great. And that additional damage to slow can really cause it to be hard to just focus down on the Razor. It provides a lot more durability here for Tino. I think I would have preferred it on FBZ just to finally see that darn Astral Imprisonment upgrade with the movement out. It's just the most annoying thing, but they don't really need it this game. I think you're so far ahead on Boom that save mechanism isn't really valuable. Maybe the additional mana steal is great, but not really necessary considering the damage output you're seeing now from FBZ. So just go all in on Tino, protect the Razor, and then you take the mid tower as well. So only the bot set of towers left for SMG, and it gives Boom a lot of control on the map. They're taking over the triangle. They don't really have the forward vision on the top jungle, but it's a bit risky for SMG to just make a foray out. They don't really have the forward vision themselves to kind of handle that. They do hit some item spikes here. Mike, mid one does have the Abyssal up. So the Monkey King does have some on-demand bashes, some on-demand control to follow through and kind of compensate for something that SMG's been lacking. And it can help them out. The issue is, who do you really want to focus on? Because if you're focusing on FBZ, we've seen that before. Everyone else has a big opening there.
SMG, they're going to hold the high ground for now in that Radiant Triangle, but Boom, they're moving in. Tino, BKB, they found Moon. That's a great target. They've got the Leshrac, the finger out. He's survived. No, he's not going to survive. He does go down. Maybe they can take down this Razor though. Tino, he's tanking through it. He still has the Aegis up. Onto Raging they go. There goes your Viper, and now the Ravage out Tims. He gets right in. With the 3 heroes, they are just going to get wiped out. Oh, it's just perfect, John. It's completely clinical play here from Boom Esports. SMG, they're trying. They're taking every advantage they can get, but Boom just do not give a crap.
No, they really don't. They hit this Ags timing out on Yopaj after that fight, so there's now the Torrent Storm top of anything else. 52-16, 20k lead. SMG, they don't have their Wukongs to defend the high ground. They still don't have Ags here on Afu, so their control is really limited in what they can do. And I think Boom can just go for it. Yeah, they're going to gun for a tier 4, so they know SMG's options to defend are limited, even with the buybacks up. What's a Razor going to do here? What's a Viper going to do?
That's a very good question, John. Raging. Well, he'll see one tier 4 drop, but they'll go back for the racks. They're respecting the respawn timers, but you are still missing mid one and Moon. That's the big ones you've got to worry about. Because you don't know whether they have buyback or not right now. In fact, mid one's only 250 gold short from buyback. Still, that top rack's not going to last very long here against Boom. SMG, they will not go forward. They cannot afford to die right now, but the spawns are coming in. Moon, he'll be there on the Lesh, but they won't make the jump. That'll be enough. 26k net worth advantage here for Boom Esports, and a double damage rune down a bot. Depending on who sees that first, it could be GG very soon.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think just giving Yopaj that TD is a very, very scary prospect. He's finishing up his Daedalus as well. So it could be a very big option for Boom. Unfortunately, SMG is the winning position. This could give them a second win almost, especially if mid one does pick that up. They don't manage to scout it out. They're feeling pressure to get as much farm as they can on the triangle. Raging will find it out. Now, they could line up. They have to be careful about how 4-4 they are.
Afu, he does get caught. Yopaj, he'll move in with the Torrent and Nullifier. And he found 2 with that Torrent. Raging, he'll turn back around onto the Kunkka. Boat will fly out. Moon, he'll get to work. They've almost got the Kunkka down. In fact, they should have him, and they do. A great trade of Scam. He'll drop to boot. SMG, they found a great 2-for-1 special. That's a nice way to start. Can they keep capitalizing? It looks like they may as Boom. They continue to the team fight. They're trying to go onto Roger. Mid one, he'll jump in, but he misses out on Tims. Instead now Tino, he'll keep going after mid one with the static link out. Scam's ball back as well. Mid one, he's trying to man fight again, but it's just too much. It's too much damage being stolen. That might be it. 4 heroes down without buyback for SMG. They did not have the chance to farm the gold they needed. The only person with buyback from SMG's Moon, and he's alive right now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I don't think they can defend. They will try their smoke top. Maybe if they find a good blink angle, get the chain stuns off, they could stall out, but the side of Boon's a bit too fat. And they'll just get started in those tier 4s. They don't need the megas. They don't need to clear out the top racks themselves. The creep wave does that. There is a little bit of time here, though. At least the Abaddon will come in.
Yeah, They jump in after him being spotted. Moon, he'll jump into boot. Onto that T4 tower, but Tino, he's already static linking away. Just sucking all the damage out from Moon. Here we go again after Arfu. Gotta be a Nick's gone. Astral out, they've caught the Leshrac to boot. Rod's gonna be there to help, but the Ravage again in from Tims. He pops the bro time. It doesn't matter. Moon's gonna drop, they call it. They've had enough. GG. Boom Esports, they will go undefeated once again throughout the SEA DPC Division 1.
Radiant victory.
What's happened, John? What's so funny?
Scam. He's dropping all his items, as we have been seeing nowadays, especially in Europe. You know, we have been seeing a lot of item drops at the end of the game. But Boom plays spectacularly well. I think SMG, not quite getting the series they wanted. You know, I actually did expect this to be a bit closer with SMG. They have shown that they can be in really top form, but Boom, definitely the heavy favorites coming in. They play spectacularly well. They run with his really hard flex on the last draft, and you can just see how happy they are. Yopash, nice little fist bump. Tino with a smile on his face. He tends to be a very serious guy, and you can see they're very happy about staying undefeated so far here in CBDPC. But for SMG, I think they might have been caught off guard because the draft was just so flexible there from Boom, right? Like they run the off-lane OD, they run the pause 4 tide, which we normally see in pause 5. They run the mid Kunkka for Yopash, and they just go for the last pick Razor, which counteracted that early aggression we're building up on SMG's side. So Boom, again, just showing that, you know, even from drafting, they've got a lot of ideas on hand there, Mike.
Yeah, and I'm sure to celebrate, Tims will probably be ordering Eggaholic again, as I continue to see on his Facebook, getting very, very jealous of those sandwiches. Still, we are going to head off to a short break, and of course, right after that break, we're going to be back with our very, very lovely panel to discuss what happened in the series overall. We'll see you then.